Everybody. I hope you can see me and I hope you can hear me. And I apologize for our story hour. We started it at 10:30, but with the internet out here, it just didn't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to try this again. Welcome to Storytime Craft Club. I'm Julie and I'm at the Fairview Public Library. I'm going to do things just a little differently. I may not be able to talk to everyone since I'm doing this one myself, but I will try. What I want to do before the craft, since you did miss the story time and we didn't get it on the air, I want to do one story for you before we do our craft. The story I would like to tell you is called The Mitten. Since it's all nice and snowy outside and it's all cold and winter is almost here, looks like it's here already, so I thought The Mitten would be a really cute story to tell you. So we're going to start out with this. Then we're going to do our craft. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. There's Nicky. And look at all the snow. He lives in a place with a lot of snow. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to make mittens out of white. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow white mittens, and finally, Baba made them. There she is, making his mittens for him, and he's waiting. He's really anxious to get out in the snow and play. After she finished, she said, when you come home, first I will look to see if you're safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. There goes Nicky climbing up the tree to play, and look there, right there on the ground. Can you see that mitten? Right there. Just like Baba said would happen. Well, the mitten laid there for a little while, and pretty soon, look at the mitten we've got here. It's pretty big, but look at this mitten. The mitten laid there for a while, and pretty soon along came a little mole. And he looked at the mitten and he thought, oh, I'm so cold. I'm going to get in that nice warm mitten and I'm going to go to sleep. So he wiggled his way into the mitten, and pretty soon he was sound asleep. Well, the mitten laid there for a little while, and then what could come along next? Ah, a porcupine. And the porcupine saw the mitten and he thought, I'm going to get in that mitten and I'm going to take a nap. So he stuck his nose in the mitten, and the little mole thought, no, I don't want you in here. But he saw the porcupine's claws, and he thought he'd better move over and let him in. So the porcupine climbed into the mitten, and pretty soon they went to sleep. Well, the mitten laid there and laid there and laid there, and then along hops a white snow bunny. Look there, the little white rabbit. And he saw the mitten, and he thought, oh, that looks good. I think I'll go in there and take a nap. It must be warm. So he tried to get into the mitten, and it woke the other animals up, and they thought, oh, no, we don't want the rabbit in there. But they saw the rabbit's long teeth and his claws that were just right for digging in the snow. And they thought, they better move over and let him in. So they did. And they all snuggled into the mitten, and pretty soon they went to sleep. Well, the mitten laid there for a little while, and then along came a mean old badger. Badgers are pretty mean, I hear. He came along, and he saw the mitten, and he thought, I want to get inside that mitten. So he stuck his nose in, and he pushed, and he shoved, and the other animals said, no, don't come in here. It's too crowded. But the badger didn't care because they're mean. So he just kept shoving and pushing his way inside the mitten. Look there. It's getting pretty big, isn't it? Well, it was cozy inside that mitten with all of them, so pretty soon they went to sleep. Well, up above, flying in the sky, along came an owl, and he saw the mitten, and he saw that it was kind of lumpy, and he wondered maybe there was something good in there that he wanted to eat. So he flew down, and he stuck his head inside the mitten, woke up the other animals, and they thought, oh, no, we don't want that scary owl inside here. But they saw his sharp beak, and his sharp talons. And they thought, oh, they better move over and let him in. So the owl wiggled his way inside the mitten. Look, it's getting pretty full, isn't it? But it was cozy in there. So they all settled down and went to sleep. Well, what should come along next but a sly old fox? And he saw the mitten and he thought, I'm going to get in there and take a nap. So he didn't care what the other animals said. He just shoved his way inside the mitten. And they all settled down again and they fell asleep. It's getting pretty crowded inside this mitten. You might not think anything else could fit, but pretty soon along came a great big bear. It was time for him to hibernate, and he was very sleepy. So he stuck his head in the mitten, and the other animals woke up, and they thought, no, you can't fit inside this mitten. And the bear thought, I need to go to sleep. So he shoved his way into the mitten, and they all settled down, and they fell asleep. After a while, along came a teeny, tiny little mouse. He wasn't very big, and he saw the mitten, and he thought, I'm so cold. Maybe I can get in the mitten and take a nap. And the other animals woke up and said, no, there's no room inside the mitten. And he said, I'm so tiny, I don't take up much room. I'll just lay here on the bear's nose. So he got in the mitten and he laid on the bear's nose. Well, the little mouse had whiskers, and the whiskers tickled the bear's nose, and the bear felt a sneeze coming on, and he tried not to sneeze, but he went, chew! And what do you think happened? The mitten flew up into the air. The animals flew out of it. They all got up and ran to their own homes. Well, Nicky, who had been looking for his mitten this whole time, saw the mitten fly up into the air. And he ran as fast as he could through the snow and found the mitten laying on the ground. He tucked it back into his belt. He went back home, and his grandma Baba saw that he was okay and that he still had his mittens. And he sat down to have a nice big cup of hot chocolate. So that's the story of the mitten. Now we're going to do a special craft because it's snowy outside. We're going to make a really pretty snowflake picture just like this. And in your kit that you have picked up, you should have a piece of paper, a snowflake, and some salt. And the additional supplies you're going to need some water with a brush. You're going to need some paint, watercolor paint. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our paper and we're just going to paint the whole paper with different colors of watercolors. I use pink and some blues. You want to get a good bit of water on the paper because you don't want it to dry before we're done. And I'm going to put a tray down here because this gets a little messy. And I'm going to start off with some blue, a really pretty blue-green. And I'm just going to paint all over. I'm not going to fill the whole paper up with this blue because I want to add other colors. So I'm just kind of making, see there? You're not making any design. You're just filling the paper with color. I'm going to put some blue up on the other side. Making sure I have enough water. You want to make sure you have enough water for this. And now, let's see, I'll do some of this. Now I'm going to add, see, there's no rhyme or reason here. Look there. No rhyme or reason. I'm going to add some pink. A lot of water on this. You want a lot of water. This gets a little messy. That's why you might want to have a tray down, or maybe some newspaper down, or paper towels, or something like that, just so you won't get stuff all over everything. Maybe mom and dad don't care if you get stuff all over everything. In that case, have a good time. I'm going to do a little bit of dark pink or orangish here. And if this kind of starts drying before you're done, you can add water. I've got some purple. See what I'm doing here? Just filling up my paper. Filling up my paper with this. Hi, Everly. How are you? Hello, Kirsten. How are you? I'm glad you stuck with me and joined me. All right, see how my paper's kind of filling up here? I'm just gonna keep adding color. And it's okay if your colors blend together. That makes it really interesting. Really, really interesting. You actually create new colors doing that, and that's really good. I want to cover the whole paper. And if you've got your colors down and you think, oh, I want to add a color inside another color, that's okay too. That'll make it really, really interesting. And like I said, blending them like that, you're going to create some new colors. And that's really awesome. Make sure you have enough water on it. You have enough water. You don't want your picture to dry before we do this. Now I'm taking some of my purple. I'm just adding it in. Your paper's going to get kind of flimsy, okay? That's all right. I'll try some yellow. I haven't tried yellow in here yet. Don't know how this will work, but I'm going to try. Yeah, don't like the yellow. Forget the yellow. I'm not going to put the yellow in there. Let's see. Let's put some here. Some purple. Look how it's bleeding into the other colors. That is really, 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 really pretty. I like that a lot. More pink here. Ooh, that's pretty. That's pretty. I like that. Put some pink down here. Now remember, you don't want this to dry before you get your salt on here. Salt's going to do some magic. All right. I'm trying to hold this up. See how that's all wet? And there's my colors. Now, what you're going to do next is after you get your paper covered, then you're going to take your salt and you're just going to shake your salt all over your paper. You can make it thicker in some places, thinner in others. Don't have to use it all if you don't want to, but you can. So I have shaken the salt. It's kind of hard to see, but I've shaken the salt all over the paper. All over the paper. Now, here comes the hard part. You're going to have to wait till it dries to finish your project. If you want to use a blow dryer, Mom and Dad have a blow dryer that you can use. You can do that, or maybe go out and play in the snow for a little bit, come back in and have some hot chocolate, maybe read a book, read a couple books, do some coloring, and then your paper will be dry, and then you can finish. I happen to have a piece that I did this morning, and it's all dry. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the dry piece of paper, and I'm going to wipe off the salt. I'm going to take my hand, and I'm going to take it all over the paper just to get all the salt off of it, because you don't want the salt left on there. And then when the salt comes off, you're going to see something really fun here. Because the salt, where you have put the salt on the paint, it took the paint off. It made it kind of transparent. So it looks like you've got like little bubbles things on the paper. You can use a paper towel for this if you don't want to use your fingers. It doesn't hurt though. This feels a little funny when you're taking the salt off, but it doesn't hurt. If you have like a cut on your hand or something like that, though, you might want to use a paper towel because I wouldn't want you to get salt in your hands. Now, I've taken all the salt off the paper. Can you see the pretty patterns on the paper? Look at those pretty patterns on that paper. Look at that. And that's just from the salt that was left behind on the paint. Now we can finish. I need to jump up and grab a glue stick. Hold on, forgot a glue stick. All right, now what we're going to do, we're going to take our snowflake that came with our kit, and we're going to put glue on the back of it. And we are going to glue it right on the front of our picture. You can glue the whole snowflake on the picture. You can glue it so that the snowflake is partly off of the picture, and then you'll just cut off the very ends of it. I think for this snowflake, on this one, I cut off the end, just like that. I think this snowflake, I'm going to put the whole thing on. I think that's what I'm going to do. Just make sure you get glue all over it. And then I'm going to put it towards the bottom, I think. You can put your snowflake anywhere you want to on your picture. You can put it right in the middle of the picture. You can put it at the top. If you want to cut out snowflakes on your own, more snowflakes, and put them on your picture as well, you can do that. All right, I have put my snowflake right there. Look how pretty that looks. All those different colors in there. And the salt and the pretty patterns the salt made. That is a very pretty winter picture. So there you go. That's our craft for this week. Join us next week in Fairmont when we do another Christmas craft. And we've got some special things coming up next week. Mr. Cox will tell you about those. So join us next time in Fairmont for Storytime Live and Storytime Craft Club. Bye-bye for now.